All right, so today we're diving into something pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Nuclear threats.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it is. And I think, you know, we're all here because we want to be prepared
Absolutely.
for anything.
I'll go worse.
Yeah, the unthinkable. And
Yeah.
today we're going to be looking at an interview with Dr. Gabriel Velasquez.
Okay.
Now, he is a nuclear physicist
Well.
and a global security advisor. And he had some really powerful insights in a piece called La amenaza nuclear y cómo sobrevivir,
Oh, wow.
about what happens during and after a nuclear attack.
Right.
And most importantly, how to increase your chances of survival.
Yeah, that's the part we want to know.
Exactly.
Like, how do we actually make it through something like that?
That's what we're here for. And
Yeah.
he really starts by emphasizing preparation is key.
Oh, for sure.
Like, that's a big thing for him.
Like, always be prepared.
Always be prepared. It's
Mhm.
not just about having a stockpile of supplies.
Right.
It's about understanding the risks that are specific to your location,
Absolutely. Like, knowing
where you are.
Yeah, where you are and
Yeah.
what the potential targets might be.
He says, think about it. Are you near a military base,
Oh, yeah, that would be bad.
a major city,
Definitely a target.
industrial centers?
Uh-huh.
These are all prime targets.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
In a nuclear attack,
Yeah,
it's easy to think like, oh, it'll never happen here.
right.
But he wants us to think strategically about this,
Yeah.
to understand
Yeah.
the potential dangers just based on where we live.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and once you've assessed your risk, then comes the practical part.
Okay, so we're getting into the nitty-gritty here.
Yeah, stocking up on those essential supplies.
All right, so what do we take? Like, what kind of supplies?
Water, obviously.
Water, yes.
That's
Hydration,
paramount.
for sure. At least a gallon per person per day.
Got it. Write that down, folks.
And then there's food.
Okay.
Think calorie-dense,
Okay.
long-lasting options like peanut butter. Oh, peanut butter. The classic.
It's funny, you always hear about peanut butter.
I know, right? It's like
a survival staple.
a survival staple.
But I never really thought about why.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense now.
Well, it's packed with protein and healthy fats.
Oh, that's true.
And it can last for years if it's stored properly.
Right.
So yeah, peanut butter,
Peanut butter, check.
definitely big one. And don't forget a manual can opener.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, because imagine
All
all
of those canned goods,
Yeah.
and you can't open them.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Exactly. It's one of those little details that
You
can
can't-
make a huge difference in a crisis.
Totally.
Like, I've read accounts of past disasters
Oh, really?
where something as simple as a can opener
Right.
became
Yeah.
like a prized possession.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's good to think about the
So, practicality.
practicalities. Yeah, that we take for granted.
Totally.
But he goes beyond just supplies.
He also emphasizes having a solid
Yeah.
family emergency plan.
Oh, of course. That's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about more than just reducing panic in a crisis.
Right.
It's about actually being able to, connect
Yeah, to find your loved ones.
and find your loved ones if you get separated.
Yeah, because in that kind of chaos,
Oh, my gosh.
it would be so easy to just
be.
lose track of each other.
Yeah, indefinitely.
Yeah.
So, a well-rehearsed plan
Okay.
with designated meeting spots and clear communication strategies.
Yeah, so everyone's on the same page.
That can be the difference.
Literally life or death.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've got our supplies.
Okay.
We've got our plan.
We're ready.
But what about
What about the actual moment?
the actual moment of impact?
Oh, boy.
Dr. Velasquez paints a very vivid picture
I bet.
of what happens when a nuclear weapon detonates.
Doesn't sound pretty.
He doesn't shy away
No.
from the harsh realities.
Right.
He describes the blinding flash, the deafening roar,
Oh,
the
boy.
sheer destructive force
Hard to even imagine.
of the blast.
Yeah.
But even in those terrifying initial seconds,
Okay.
there are things that you can do
Oh, good.
to increase your chances of survival.
So there is something there.
Like the classic advice, don't look at the flash.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
It sounds so simple,
Right.
but it's crucial.
Yeah.
That flash can cause instant blindness,
Oh, wow.
even from miles away.
Seriously?
Yeah, and it's not just about the light itself.
Okay.
It's the intense burst of radiation
Right.
that accompanies it.
So you could be blinded by the radiation.
Yeah, your instinct might be to look,
Sure.
but that split-second decision
Yeah.
could have lasting consequences.
You don't want to mess with that.
No.
Okay, so no looking at the flash.
So we're dropping everything,
Right.
shielding our eyes,
Got it.
and then what?
The mutt, where are we going?
He says, forget cars.
Really?
They offer very little protection.
Why is that? I thought they were metal.
They are, but from radiation, you want to put as much dense material between you and the radiation as possible.
So a car's thin metal frame?
It's just not going to cut it.
It's not enough.
No.
So we need something more substantial.
We're talking solid buildings, preferably with thick walls and minimal windows.
Okay, I'm getting the picture.
So you made it to a sturdy shelter.
All right.
You're catching your breath.
Yeah.
Maybe feeling a sense of relief.
Like you've made it.
Yeah. But he warns us that the first 24 to 48 hours after impact are even more critical than the blast itself.
Really? Why is that?
It's all about the fallout.
The fallout. Okay.
Think of it as radioactive dust and particles.
Oh, I see.
Thrown into the atmosphere by the explosion.
Oh, wow.
This dust can travel for miles before settling back down to the ground.
Oh, my gosh.
Contaminating everything it touches.
So it's like invisible.
You can't see it, smell it, or taste it.
But it's there.
But it can have devastating effects on your health if you're exposed.
So this is scary stuff.
Yeah.
We need to take this seriously.
Yeah, and that's why staying put in your shelter and sealing it off is absolutely critical during this time.
Okay, got it. Seal it up.
He really emphasizes that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, the longer those radioactive particles stay on your skin or clothing, the higher the risk of them entering your body and causing harm.
So we've got to get that stuff off of us.
Yeah, think like plastic sheeting.
Okay.
Duct tape.
Duct tape, the solution to everything.
Anything to keep those particles out.
Right.
This is not the time to be checking if the coast is clear.
No, stay inside.
Yeah.
And it's not just skin contact we have to worry about. There's also the risk of inhaling those radioactive particles.
Oh, so like breathing it in?
Exactly. Wow. And that's why Dr. Velasquez recommends creating a makeshift air filter if possible.
Oh, like using a damp cloth or something?
Yeah, like over your mouth and nose. Okay.
It's not a perfect solution, obviously.
Right.
But it can help to trap some of those particles before they reach your lungs.
So just minimizing exposure as much as possible.
Exactly, especially in those crucial early hours.
Now, let's say you were outside.
Okay.
When the fallout hit.
Uh-oh.
What does he advise?
Immediate decontamination.
Okay.
Like, bag up any contaminated clothing right away.
Okay.
And scrub yourself down thoroughly with soap and water.
Got it.
The sooner you remove those particles, the lower the risk of long-term health problems.
It's interesting we've been talking about the physical dangers of fallout.
Yeah.
But he also acknowledges the psychological impact of a nuclear event.
Yeah.
It's not just about surviving the blast and the radiation.
Right.
It's about coping with the trauma.
Yeah, the mental and emotional toll.
And the uncertainty.
Right, like how do you even...
And of a world forever changed.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
And he makes this comparison
to being shipwrecked.
Oh, wow.
Suddenly thrust into a huddled, stripped bare.
Yeah, you've lost everything.
Forced to adapt or perish.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
But he also emphasizes that even in the face of such devastation, there's still hope.
Okay.
There's still a reason to fight for survival.
I like that.
And that's where his rule of sevens comes in.
The rule of sevens. Okay, I'm intrigued.
I found this concept really fascinating.
Yeah, tell me more.
It's like a mental checklist.
Okay.
A way of prioritizing actions in those chaotic moments.
Oh, that makes sense.
After an attack.
Like a roadmap for survival.
Exactly. So he starts with the first 7 seconds after the blast.
Okay, the first 7 seconds.
This is all about pure instinct.
Okay.
Getting down, taking cover, shielding yourself from that immediate impact.
So like just reacting in the moment.
Then there's the 7 minutes following the blast.
Okay, 7 minutes.
Now it's about reaching a safe shelter.
Okay.
Ideally underground.
Right, get as far away from
and sealed off from the outside world.
Got it. Find shelter, seal it up.
So you've survived the initial blast.
Okay.
You've found shelter.
Phew.
You're relatively safe from the immediate fallout.
Okay. What's next?
The next phase is the 7 hours following the detonation.
7 hours?
This is when you start assessing the situation.
Okay.
Checking for injuries.
Right.
Making contact with family if possible.
If you can.
But the key here is to stay put.
Okay.
Avoid unnecessary exposure to the outside world.
So we're still hunkering down.
Yeah, the danger of fallout is still very real.
Got it. Stay safe.
During this period.
Okay.
And then we move on to the 7 days.
7 days, all right.
This is about transitioning from that initial shock of the event to a more structured approach to survival.
So like getting organized.
Exactly. It's about conserving resources.
Okay.
Rationing food and water.
Right. Make it last.
Managing waste.
Important.
Maintaining hygiene.
All those essential things.
Think of it as establishing a new routine.
Okay.
A sense of normalcy amidst the chaos.
I see. Create some order out of the chaos.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered the first week.
What about the long-term outlook?
Yeah, what happens after those 7 days?
He guides us through the subsequent stages.
Okay.
The 7 weeks mark a period of adaptation.
7 weeks adaptation.
Finding ways to cope
right.
with the new reality.
This new world.
Creating a sense of purpose.
Okay.
In a world forever changed.
Finding a way to move forward.
And then we reach the 7 months.
7 months. Okay.
This is when we start thinking about more sustainable solutions.
Like what?
Growing our own food.
Oh, right. Becoming self-sufficient.
Finding safe water sources.
Right.
Rebuilding community.
So like starting to create a new society.
Remember those skills we talked about earlier?
Like the gardening.
Like indoor gardening. Water purification.
Right. Those become essential now.
This is where they become absolutely essential. It's amazing how he breaks down this long-term adaptation into these manageable steps.
It's like a step-by-step guide.
It makes the overwhelming seem somewhat approachable.
Right, less daunting.
It's a strategy for not just surviving,
yeah,
but thriving in a post-nuclear world.
Thriving, I like that.
And finally, we reach the 7 years.
7 years, wow.
He envisions a gradual societal recovery taking shape by this point.
Okay.
New communities emerging.
So like a rebirth.
And a slow return to some semblance of normalcy.
That's hopeful.
It's a hopeful thought.
Yeah.
A reminder that even in the face of unimaginable destruction, the human spirit can endure, adapt,
and eventually rebuild.
But there's a deeper message here too, isn't there?
What's that?
He's not just focused on physical survival.
Okay.
He's urging us to think about the ethical dilemmas.
Oh, I see.
The challenging choices we might face.
Right, the moral questions.
In a post-nuclear world.
That's a whole other layer to think about.
Yeah, it makes you think, like, who would I be in this new world?
And what choices would you have to make? It's like he's really painting a stark picture. Yeah. Imagine a world with scarce resources where access to clean water, food, medical care is limited.
Yeah.
Like, how do we even begin to decide?
Wait, who gets what?
Who gets to survive?
It's tough.
Those are not easy questions.
No.
And he doesn't pretend to have all the answers. He's just presenting the questions.
Yeah.
And urging us to engage in those conversations now before it's too late.
And it's not just about resource allocation.
Right.
He also talks about the potential for conflict and violence in a post-nuclear world.
Yeah. With a rule of law potentially weakened.
Yeah.
Or non-existent.
How do we prevent that descent into chaos and anarchy?
Well, it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
I mean, history has shown us time and again that in times of extreme scarcity, social structures break down.
Quickly.
Yeah.
But he also sees this
as
an opportunity to reaffirm our shared humanity.
Oh, that's interesting.
He believes that strong social bonds, a sense of community, and a commitment to cooperation could be the key.
Those are powerful forces.
Yeah. To maintaining order.
Yeah.
And preventing those worst-case scenarios.
So even in the darkest of times, human connection and compassion
could be our saving grace.
It's a beautiful thought.
It is.
That even as we prepare for the worst, we have to hold on to the hope for a better future.
Absolutely.
And that brings us back to the core message.
Yeah.
He really emphasizes throughout the interview.
What's that?
While being prepared is essential, the true solution lies in prevention.
Yeah.
We have to work tirelessly towards a world free from nuclear weapons.
He challenges us to think beyond national borders.
It's a global issue.
To recognize the interconnectedness of humanity.
Like what happens in one part of the world
affects us all.
Affects everybody.
A nuclear war anywhere is a threat to everyone everywhere.
It's a call to action.
It is
a plea for global solidarity and cooperation in the face of this existential threat.
Absolutely. It's about understanding that our fates are intertwined.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, and that working towards a nuclear-free future is not just about survival.
It's about something bigger.
It's about safeguarding the very essence of what makes us human.
I think that's a good place to leave it.
It is. So after this deep dive into Dr. Velasquez's insights, I know it's a lot to process.
It is heavy stuff.
Here's what I hope listeners will remember.
Okay.
Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Understanding the risks having a plan.
Yeah.
And engaging in these difficult conversations.
Oh, that's important.
Are crucial steps towards building a safer world.
We can do this.
And even as we confront these stark realities, let's not forget the power of hope.
Hope is essential.
The fight for a nuclear-free world is a fight for humanity itself.
It's a fight worth having.
It is. We hope this deep dive has equipped you with valuable knowledge.
Absolutely.
And a renewed sense of purpose.
Stay safe out there.
Stay safe, stay informed.
And stay engaged.
Most importantly, stay engaged.
The conversation doesn't end here.
Thanks for listening, everybody.